How would you like to achieve your first million? And today we have Rikki Lee Travolta, and his expertise is amazing because without celebrity endorsement can get you really far in business. So, Ricky, tell us, what are the 5 steps that you recommend to entrepreneurs in order to achieve the first million?
Welcome to Unstoppable Podcast with Harry Sardinas, inspiring conversations with influential millionaires, investors, thought leaders, entrepreneurs who are making a massive difference with their innovative products and services, and sharing the challenges and wisdom of how they sold their first million.
Wow. I would, first of all, it is such an honor to be speaking to your audience. You're a great host and unstoppable. Wow. What a show. Any entrepreneur who wants to be a million, who maybe they have a million, maybe they haven't got to the million yet. They haven't got to the 10 million, the 50 million, but they know they have the idea and they know that this is the show to watch. Unstoppable. My man, Harry. And so I've had a few honors in my life. And Steve Jobs calling me, CEO of Apple, and God rest your soul, buddy. He called me and he said, Rikki Lee, you are a marketing genius. And that was after I introduced the iPad before the iPad. And so that was the big wow. But anytime I get to talk, and I own Groovy Lingo, I work celebrity endorsements. I did the big corporate, don't do it. But now I get to hang out with the rock stars and the Hollywood stars. So some fun. I have my own lingo. And it's all part of being autistic. And so thank you so much for being here. And that's a great first question. Five steps. I would say the first thing beyond everything else is world computing. I turned that into a $583 tech lead. And when Larry O'Connor approached me, he had secret meetings because in his dad's office, his office space down the street at Shamrock Industries or something, Shamrock something. And he had meetings with me because he had this label, lying, and that's not a nickname anyone wants to have. And so I was willing to just kind of give me anything in order to come on. And ownership, and I did great. I turned it into the amazing tech leader. But the thing that I really expressed to Larry in all the before I ever went to the main office was we have to focus on the truth. It wasn't something I stipulated with just Larry. And it wasn't just for his nickname line, Larry, but and anytime business, you have to be truthful. Because if you're just focused on the quick buck, you're going to, can I say, screw your customers over. They're not going to be your customer. You're trusted. But if you're truthful and you stand behind your brand, and at the end of the day, you are your brand, then you're going to build customers for life because they're going to trust you. And maybe they'll even love you. Because the same thing, company that I'll make famous, Empire Today, #1 flooring company. And I did that in less than a year. Statistically, would have taken anybody else 10 to 20. I'm high functioning autistic, so I do things different. But, I did that in our service department and they were lying to the customers. And I said, man, we can't do that. We have to be honest. I did a lot of things to the #1. And I've made a lot of companies. But the same thing applies to the fun stuff I do, which is Hollywood celebrity endorsement partners. And so, like I said, hang out with the rock stars, the Hollywood stars. And what am I building for them? Celebrity brands, turning into multi-stream, long sources of revenue, thus creating generational wealth. You're paying out money for your publicist and your lawyer and your accountant, and you're not making any money. If you turn a brand with somebody like myself, Hollywood celebrity endorsement partners, other great people, I just happen to be really good at generational wealth, where not only do you get to retire when you want to, or you get to do the problem, but your kids, your grandkids, they're making money. And that all, how are you connecting to your fans? A business, I'm creating customers for life. a rock star, a Hollywood star. I'm creating fans. I turned Steven Adler's career around from Guns N' Roses fame. Is now a rock and roll hero. And people had a different view of him before. Bad things were said by other people. And I will tell you, Steven Adler's one of the coolest dudes. Focus on that, creating a celebrity brand. And then, I mean, I just make somebody famous. I talk to products that we can endorse or put our name on, and newsletters, blah, 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 albums, put your name on, not just an artist, but as a producer, because then you're lending your brand to another brand, that brand. But if you tie it in contractually, so you're having part of that revenue stream, it all comes down to the truth. Okay. So Empire today, a bunch of contracts. And so that's like multi-million, because Steve Silvers, the president, was late after a lot of really illegal things. Steve Silvers, the guy who made the deal, me and David Lenowitz, Steve Silvers was sued by Empire Today for, I think it was 15 million, 25 million for embezzlement. So their star witness in this, multi-billion-dollar potential here is somebody they sued for multiple millions for. And what is fraud? Lying. The truth. The truth. The truth. Okay. So number 2, I'm going to say realize key words. Okay. It's not what you want to say. It's what people want to hear, but do it truthfully. Don't lie and tell people what they want to hear if it's not true, but figure out what of your brand, what of you fits what they want. And so I could go through your house, Harry, and I could point to products that I've named, and I named them in such a way that you bought them because I thought of the key word you would associate, because there's a psychology to it. And that's where the autism is in Steve Jobs' superpower for me, because I think different. And different doesn't, okay, I am disabled. I have the other end of autism for me. There's a lot of different varieties of autism, but man, everybody across America, everybody across the world, everybody's the best at something. Everybody's perfect in my mind because God made you that. Everybody is the best. My mind works different. I'm disabled. I'm super high function. I can $10 deals while I'm cooking breakfast, but I can't work one of these. It's called executive function disorder. I have to have an assistant. Legally, I have to have one. And the next tip comes in: teamwork. Without an assistant, I'm like a man without a wheelchair. Okay. But with an assistant, hundreds of millions of dollars while making breakfast. And so everything is teamwork. It just has to be 2 people. I mean, my wonderful partner, Deborah Swinford, she was my 30 years before we got into business together. And she's one of the most brilliant business minds I've ever experienced. I'm the creative guy. She does the taxes, the payroll records. She does the editing. I've written bestsellers. My Fractured Life, my first book, bestseller that Heath Ledger wanted to star adaptation. And again, man, God, it would have been a great film. The TV and film rights back. Port McGee Pictures, Dan Riley, Peter J. Clark. And that we go ahead and produce that with the latest young hot star. Teamwork. So individual company, Hollywood partners, or our parent company, Entertainability Group, that Deborah and I founded. And gosh, she's so good. And I'll tell you, Harry, I love everybody. I love you. I love you, man. Every religion, every political view, racial, genetics, and there's certain special. And Deborah's one of those. I best friends for 30 years. Even sometimes you have miscommunications, but you always get over if you work with your heart and you go back to that truth. And sometimes the truth can be crazy, but teamwork. Dev and I built Entertainability, Endorsement partners, Empire Today. That wasn't a 2-person thing. A whole customer service department. That wasn't my department. I just kind of took them over because they needed some steering in the right direction. Wasn't my job, but I made sure to work as a Not just me, not just the customer service, not just the installers, not just the salespeople, the team, just like around America. Everybody's a team, right? You got your, that should be a team. You got the community you live in. That's kind of a team, right? At church. I mean, my church, they're my team. Your state, that's your team. And their country, that's your team. And really, but they call me America's friend. It's a cool nickname because I get free businesses, and I'll give it. If somebody in my pocket, I'm not going to charge them a penny, right? If it's somebody who's a really small business, a penny. If it's an entrepreneur, I'm not going to charge them the millions of dollars that I can charge a company. They can't afford that, but they still deserve the American dream to them for free or for what they can afford. Because really, don't we all want to pay? I pay my taxes. It's honest. But teamwork, business or small business, work together, know your strengths, and know where others. Then I'm going to jump over to setting goals and setting a realistic timeline. Because saying that you want a bestseller, wow, that you don't just instantly happen. I wrote a bestseller years, and it was done after I don't know 2 years or something. I think it was 4 years before it was ready to be published because I figured the final piece. And that was I saw the movie Momentum and realized, oh, if I take the last chapter, put it at the beginning, then the story's really cool. And that's what made it sellable. But it took me a couple years. The story was done. It took me a couple years to figure out that final piece. So set your goals. You don't achieve goals unless you set them. You don't become a success by accident. So set your goals, but set them realistically. And then we're going to talk, adapt. Things happen. If you have your plan set in stone and the stock market crashes, well, that changes everything. And if you ignore that and just stick to the plan without adapting, that's like driving blind. That's like closing your eyes and just praying that you're going to get there. And I believe in prayer, my man, but I don't going to happen. You're going to get in that car accident, and I'm going to pray you don't die. So my tip to you, don't drive with your eyes closed. And, then we're jumping to, I know you asked for 5, but I'm going to give you 6. So the 5th one is be realistic. Be realistic. There's a communication devices in public relations, and a bunch of chambers of commerce did the image and branding for the. If you've ever heard of Woodstock, Illinois, they did the Woodstock. Woodstock is where they filmed the movie with the great Bill Murray and directed by Harold Ramis, who dear loves of my life, Marie, probably the most beautiful woman I've ever seen. And I've been fortunate enough to have many loves of my life, and on earth. And she and I were guests at the Chicago Bulls and I represent sports figures too. And, or I should say we, this is a smiling face. Hollywood Celebrity Endorsement Partners is not just me. So Marie and I were guests at the Chicago Bulls and was hanging out. Stacy, I have a picture of Stacy around here somewhere. Stacey King was there of the championship years, and now he's one of the greatest sportscasters ever. And I love the Bulls. I love all NBA teams. David Stern was my buddy, and just love basketball. Marie and I were guests there. Harold Ramis, the director of Groundhog's Day, and so Woodstock, Illinois, I was brought in to make the fame of their fame. They had been the place that they shot Groundhog's Day, doing Groundhog's Day celebration every year, but it was really small. Now it's this huge thing where people fly in from like Australia to do it because people love that movie. They've made a Broadway musical out of it, directed by Harold Ramis, great director. God bless his soul, man. And Bill Murray, incredible. Andy's in that. I mean, so many great stars. But then if you take stars away, why the Broadway musical was such a hit. It didn't have Bill in there. Still a great story. And it's a great brand. That's what I do. I didn't create Groundhog's Day celebration thing, the brand. And so, realistic, constant contact, up, bad, really, really bad. and abused my civil rights at the same time of my disability, which is allowable by law. As long as they're reasonable, they didn't adhere to it, and they abused it really bad. And instead of going to a meeting, I was 3 hours on the phone, our official representative of the company, as dealing with trauma of. So the library meeting didn't happen. And so not only did Constant Contact and Clear Lake Capital cost me and Hollywood celebrity and Deborah Swinford and Eric Jensen and Travolta and such a list, Amanda Codes, all these people lost because Constant Contact screwed up. Library, we were going to have free library built, high now in Michigan. And that didn't happen because I missed the meeting because Constant Contact's violation of our contract. And then, so that's awful, right? They did more. So then Clear Lake Capital, because Constant Contact $2 billion. Clear Lake Capital, the ownership. And that is, their note, because it is just such 90 billion continuing to violate the law. And they brought Jerry Jow in to do the negotiations for authorized people. And I'm disabled. It took me hours to prepare for one of the authorized on the phone and not at the right time. He called instead of email, and just simple accommodations to disability because I had to prepare. And so at that point, it's brand. So things like Flossie and then Clear Lake Capital, all our company. So guys like Begdad Agabli, I ruined names. I ruined Lita Ford's name, and she's one of the most beautiful people. I love her dearly. With Scout Taylor Compton, who played Lita Ford in The Runner. So fun connection, but I ruined her name. So I'm sorry, but and Jose E. Feliciano, the other owner of $50 billion. I can go on interviews and talk about it, and air those things. It dies because I'm America's friend and everybody loves me. I'm one of the top spokespeople in the country because I'm not bad mouthing anybody. I'm just telling. I was abused. I tens of millions, 50 million. I'm not even sure. You have to have accountants, but they abused my civil rights. Of the Americans with Disabilities Act. Smart doesn't mean I'm not disabled, and it doesn't mean you don't have to obey the law. So people make mistakes, but if the mechanic puts rocket fuel, if you put rocket fuel in your Lexus and it explodes and it kills the guy's family and destroys a city block, you made a mistake. But that was like billions of dollars of damage, and
Rikki.
And so, yeah.
When do you find out the power of celebrity endorsement? What was the first time that you discovered that, wow, this is really powerful and business can grow really quickly with business that get a celebrity endorsement can actually expand quickly? Or when
let me go ahead and finish this point, all right? And that, as long as Clear Lake Capital are heading the same. If you remember Volkswagen or Enron, billion-dollar losses. But as I said to Jerry, my man, sometimes it's the bad choice, which is you pay the guy millions to make him go away, or he goes in the toilet. But here's the 6 point, and that is think outside. I can't do it the normal way. Everything I do is because I'm super high-functioning autistic, and so I made every brand so successful by what I would say. You form a company with me, because they form companies, they buy companies, and so you form it with somebody instead of being enemies and paying off. You create a partnership where what do I money to good for causes, to help in the abused, to help in the homeless, to help in mental illness, or getting service for mental illness, or helping research for one of the most important things in my life is research for Alzheimer's, or anything like that. My focus, so I can make a company a lot of money. So it makes sense for Clear Lake Capital in contact and all brands to be friendly and nice and getting business together. and tank the brand. Like, and that's thinking outside the box. I'll get to your question. I just wanted to finish up the idea.
Yeah. So the question was, when do you have the first breakthrough that how powerful was celebrity endorsement in order to help business growth? Because if you're starting a business and you're selling a product, nobody knows you, and difficult to get your product across. But if you endorse it with a celebrity that already have an existing following, and you have a product that might be attractive to this audience, this business overnight will be on the map, and exactly what you before. All this cost in marketing, product penetration, years of growing up can can even disappear just with the right celebrity, the right endorsement, and the right product. The business can skyrocket, and so is it. I understand we do hang around with the celebrities also because we do events, and they show
And
up
I'm so excited.
they show up time to our event. So the power of this. So when do you have this? When do you saw that wow, this is more powerful than what I was? When was the first experience?
Harry, first of all, your events are amazing because I hear the most dynamic speaker. And I would love to appear with you. But with celebrity endorsement, it's having the right celebrity, because right in terms of matching your market and right in terms of right budget. I mean, Empire Today, that's another company that had to offer to come on. I just introduced the Axitron Monroe, who's one of the top 5 marketing people in the world. They're trying to take the brand national. Chicago, David Leno's bought it, tried to take it national, and it wasn't translated because they had that everybody knew in Chicago, but no nationally. You can't see it now, but Fabio, right, had beautiful blonde hair, and the image and marketing, I had that twinkle in my eye. I was the dream for them because I don't just read lines. I'm the guy who writes them, and so they had to give me part ownership because also I struggle with, or I should say, I live. It's a disability called dissociative identity disorder. It was once called multiple, and it doesn't mean I'm crazy. It doesn't mean I'm a bad person. It means that my father liked to do bad things to me when I was a child, and that's where something like that comes from, where I become another person to not have to deal with it. My father was doing that, and so in an environment like Empire Today or other computing, contractually, I had to have this. So if I was going to become, another person, nobody saw it. That would ruin my image in the company. And so the right spokesperson, I was spokesperson. I made them the number one brand. If you're selling hygiene, you probably don't want Mr. T. And I love Mr. T. I actually have a concept for a show for him on the horn, because it would be a breakthrough show. It's called His Ass. And what he does is he goes and he confronts bullies, people who are bullied, and he sits down, Mr. T style. He says, "No, I'm gonna kick your ass unless we get this resolved." And then the whole show is a reality show about solutions, about getting bullies to see the error in their ways and create friendships. And I work with Chase Mass, or I have, and she's one of my dearest friends, and just I love. It was Lita on Star Trek Space Nine, and now she has this whole God, I always screw up the name. I'm not even going to try it because I'm going to screw it up. But she has a nonprofit. It's a hero coalition, pop culture coalition, and their whole focus is combating bullying. How do I do things? I network things together. So what if I create this show with Mr. T about TV? People are going to watch it. It's Mr. T. That's nostalgia. People love nostalgia. A lot of my rock stars from the Sunset Strip, from Guns N' Roses, guys from Quiet Riot, great music. Well, people love that. People love nostalgia. They would love a Mr. T reality. But we tie it into with something like Chase Masterson's pop culture hero, with funding going to fighting bullying. And that's off the top of my head. I'm just, but that would be the wrong spokesperson for a feminine hygiene. And here's the thing, man, you don't have to have a huge celebrity to be effective. He was a carpenter.
I agree with you.
Little
I agree with you 100%.
I was on every HGTV show. It's the new empire. And I didn't do what he was on. I knew it. He was awesome. And they brought him in to be America home, I'm slaughtering the name, national, I think it was ABC show. Because he was a little fame. And so they could get him for pennies. But he's charismatic. And he had a little tie into a home improvement show. So they didn't have to spend millions and millions for Tim Allen from Home Improvement Show. They found something in their budget and they made it work. So celebrity endorsements, I would say you find the celebrity in your field that works. And that's where a lot of people hire me to be the spokesperson, because I'm connected to Star Trek, number one in telecommunications, technology, nutrition, healthcare. I don't drink anymore. I quit drinking in 2014 as a spokesperson for tequila. And so I tie all that in. I represent sports figures, pro wrestling, or sports entertainment minutes now. I did play-by-play one night when they revived the ABA, American Basketball Association. Isaiah Thomas and I, series in development when he owned the Continental Basketball Association, which was like the minor league basketball. Isaiah Thomas, amazing NBA champion, amazing. He had to sell the league because he was accepting to coach. I think it was New York. He had to coach. And so he had to sell the league. And so the whole series was based on one of the leagues. So it got put on the shelf.
Rikki,
but, I mean,
if someone is in love with the conversation, want to learn more about you, how people can find you, how the process work?
Hey, I will tell you, because the focus is, man, you find what's in your budget. And I don't want to live in a mansion. I want my kids taken care of. I want the lovely ladies from my life, their mothers. I want them taken care of. But I help veterans. And so I'm going to come up with a price that makes sense for an entrepreneur.
But how can they find you?
So
how can they find you in media, in a website? How can they reach you, the people?
First of all, look at me on LinkedIn. Find me on LinkedIn, because I had my I was sexually assaulted by a guy named Nathan Brown of Air, and part of what he did was take over my social media. The one thing I've retained is LinkedIn. So you find me on LinkedIn, but go ahead and email my team. And we have a really cool email address, easy to remember. idolmakers@celebrity.us. And the US is on purpose because I'm America's friend. And I'm all about America. I'm all about the world. I want everybody to succeed. I love everybody. But if I'm going to, it's one country at a time. And so I'm America's friend.us. Idol makers, and make idols, whether it's a business or a person, idol makers, endorsements.us. And I want to hear from you. I want to help you look for me on LinkedIn, and then find us. There's America's Friend Network. It's a YouTube streaming channel and all that. And we're starting to post content there. I'm all about the people. I'm your friend. I'm your friend. And if a way to make it transform time, like I would give away my time if I could. I have to pay the bills. I have to give the way. But I want to help people. And so I'm in hiding at the moment because I was raped. I was sexually assaulted at an Airbnb. $1 million a year fund to cover that up. Airbnb does. It's uncovered by Bloomberg News. And I haven't covered it up yet. I'm still actually getting threats and things. And so the Illinois police said, go in. And so staff is a little weird right now. And so I'm not getting through as quick as I should, as quick as I wish. But I will get to you. And I want to help. But again, money. Man, I wish I could give everybody free advice. Right now, I'm in hiding. And my kid, I have two wonderful children. You're from Dad. For free. But I want to help everybody because I love you.
Thank you so much.
I'm your friend, Harry.
Thank you so much, Rikki. And for all of you following the broadcast, see you now on next episode of Unstoppable. How brave entrepreneurs like Rikki break that wall and achieve the first million. Bye for now.
Follow us for more interviews with world's most influential, audacious entrepreneurs that overcame challenges and adversity, providing you with the blueprint of how they sold their first million so you can grow your business exponentially.